Hey Aries, how y'all doing? Welcome. We're going to be taking a look at your month of April from spring equinox towards Beltane here. So let's go right into your meditation. So it was very short but sweet. I saw the image of a nightingale and I saw, and it was nighttime, you don't say. And I saw this nightingale sort of standing on top of a newspaper. And then I saw the newspaper get crumpled up into a little ball, and then the nightingale just kind of held it in its foot. I was very drawn to the color indigo, which brings my attention to like the third eye chakra. It does feel like it's a symbol around expanded vision for you, but also things that, might become more noticeable to you that escaped your attention previously. So we are in solar eclipse season here. We're in Mercury in retrograde. This is going to be a time period where things that have previously just maybe even been in our peripheral view are going to come into the forefront. Things that were in our subconscious are going to be brought into our consciousness. So it's about things that were hidden or unknown or a little bit mysterious in nature. Suddenly we're going to be able to see them with a lot more clarity if we choose to, right? It's an opportunity, it's an invitation. And so it's really about the blueprint and the opportunity to work with the energies as they are, right? So, with that nightingale, I saw the words find your voice or finding your voice. Nightingale medicine is very much about your message, what you have to say, how you communicate, right? So it's about communicating clearly but also honestly, right? So it's really fascinating with that and the newspaper with the black and white and the indigo. It does feel like this is going to be a time period for you that is very much tied to how you communicate, but also your ability and your awareness to perceive things very, very clearly, more clearly than you have previously. So it feels quite powerful, actually, a bit of magic there for this time period for you. Now, your animal energy for this time period is the hyena, which when this came up, I went, oh, well, that makes a lot of sense. If you look at this moon here, we have like an eclipse visual here, and where we're talking about solar eclipse season. So this is really brilliant and perfect for you. Also the black and white of it, because that newspaper with the black and white, it's like it's almost as if we look at black and white, but instead of gray being the middle between the two, it's actually indigo. It's actually what you perceive with your third eye, psychically, intuitively, from that deep place of knowing within you. Your sight is on point for this period. And it's interesting too, because right below that chakra, we had the throat chakra, which is also tied to nightingale in that newspaper image. So it just feels like those two chakras in particular, it's like you're seeing clearly and you're speaking clearly. And it's really, really, really beautiful. It feels incredibly powerful. Hyena energy is really brilliant because it allows us to not just approach life with humor, but to see, different possibilities, different opportunities where someone might see something as, black and white. You're able to step in there with this hyena energy and see it so differently and so uniquely to you that you're able to align with opportunities that nobody else has awareness enough to even see as a potential. So this feels really, really good. Now, hyena also, animal energy wise, we can relate this to the Knight of Wands energy as well, which is about that passion, that quick movement. I feel like you're going to be operating from a very intuitive and very a hunchy place where you're really feeling those hunches and following them. It's really beautiful. I'm seeing an image of you like being blindfolded, like, that like, that trope in movies where the warrior's training and then they put the blindfold on and see if they're able to fight just using their other senses. Why do I feel like that's you? But it's not necessarily fighting. It's like moving through your experience just on the strength of your own senses. It's really, really beautiful, like third eye activated. It's really, really stunning. So you are coming through as the King of Swords. Now, this is fascinating. It's perfect because the Nightingale, we connect the Nightingale to the Queen of Swords. So I like that you have the swords, this clear energy. Swords rule the realm of the mind, communication, clarity of vision. So this is really beautiful that this is you for this time period. This time period is going to affect everyone differently, but as a collective, we're being called to look at our shadow psyches. We're being called to really go in our storage units of everything that we believe, why we believe it, what do we want to keep around for our highest and best good, and what do we want to let go of. I cannot think of an archetype more suited to that job in terms of effectiveness than the King of Swords. Like all clarity, great editing system, objectivity. Because when you are able to have this level of objectivity, you have access to the truth. It's absolutely brilliant, Aries, that you're coming through as the King of Swords during this time period. It's interesting as well that the Falcon here has that hood over its eyes. It's really reminding me of that third eye chakra. And see that bit in his crown here with like the bluish stone? It's really stunning. It's really, really beautiful. So it feels like you're sitting in your power, in your authority, in your true sight, and you're feeling incredibly connected to what you know. Like I feel like I can hear you saying, like, I know what I know. I said what I said. I know what I know. It's really cool. It's really, really, really good for this time period. Your challenge here, let's go to your challenge, is the Queen of Cups. So let's talk about her. This is funny because this is a bit of a counter energy here, right? Queen of Cups is incredibly connected to her intuition, but I don't feel like that's necessarily going to be an issue for you. I feel like this is going to be a lot of people in your surroundings, especially if you're empathic. This is going to be a very, there's going to be a time of heightened emotions because of this eclipse season, Mercury retrograde. The collective is being called, in the Northern Hemisphere, we're in spring, right? So normally we're moving ahead, we're feeling fiery energy, we're coming out of winter solstice, but this time period has us kind of re-entering a deep freeze of winter, energetically speaking. It's the time of the slowdown and reverse, really taking another look at things before we can move forward, right? When this comes to an end around, late April, around the 25th. So the fact that this is your challenge with the feeling queen, I do feel like that there's going to be, the parts of yourself, but also really people in your environment that are really feeling things in a way that feels very raw, very primal. And the fact that you're coming through as the King of Swords, I do feel like that might challenge your capacity for holding space for, those who are feeling those big feelings. And even within yourself, remember, it's a wonderful thing to be sitting in the seat of your King of Swords authority and power, but she also reminds us to be compassionate and patient with the flow of life and the natural and divine timing of all things. So I do feel like there's a bit of push and pull around, like maybe wanting things to progress in a certain way or in a certain time, feeling a bit frustrated with, the mishaps that might occur during a retrograde solar eclipse season. And I feel like you're just being reminded here to also take some time to be in the present moment, keep your feet rooted to the ground and near the water, keep in touch with your softer heart, because you all are being called to embrace that during this time as well as a collective, which leads us to your advice of the Six of Cups, which is really mirroring that beautifully, because when this comes through as your advice, you are being called to really embody the present moment as much as possible, right? When we're kids, when we do things we really enjoy at a young age, that's when time truly flies, right? It's when we get into our adulthood that we become further and further away from that, most of us anyway, right? So when this comes up as your advice, this also connects you to the past, remembering things that are in a better or worse light than they actually occurred. So it's interesting, given that we're in a time period which is calling us to reflect, right? Like planetary wise, that's the blueprint within which we are working. So the fact that your advice is to go to the past, to look back in pleasure, right? I am at peace with my past. That's the tagline for this key. I feel like in this context. So I really feel like you're being called to really do things that allow the time to pass and fly for you, and really sit in the enjoyment of the present moment. That is going to help you get through this season and sort of temper some of this King of Swords energy, which can be, it's one of my favorites, honestly, but it can be a bit intense. It could be a bit, demanding or strong. And you as an Aries, have that energy within you already, being the emperors that you are. So you're being asked to temper that fire with some water, so to speak. So in your place of victories, this is really beautiful. You have karma here, which is the judgment key. Is it? Yes, it is your one and only major arcana in your place of victories, which denotes fated or destined events, right? If it's a minor, you can change it if you don't like it. So I love that we have like another eclipse here for you. It's really like for me, this also, when there's a lot of synchronicities and visual ties to what we're picking up, it just shows that you have access to alignment during this time that is going to be really, really wonderful for you. Judgment is about feeling like, and again, it ties to the Six of Cups, where you feel like you are truly able to sit in appreciation for everything that happened on your road to get you to where you are. So it's another version of being at peace with your past and really appreciating every bit of that broken road that led you to where you are. You just have a deeper appreciation for it. Like, you know how that saying, like, hindsight is 2020? That is the judgment key. Like, hindsight really is 2020, and you're able to see things more clearly by looking backwards, right? It's like looking back in order to move forward, but from a place of appreciation, non-judgment, and curiosity. This is feeling like you have a clean slate and you're ready to move forward to the last key in the major arcana, which is the World, which comes right after this. I do feel like you're at a point in your cycle where there's going to be some significant shifts that are closing out certain chapters or outlooks or choices, decisions, or surprise twists that are coming up during this time for you, that you're going to feel incredibly empowered in your ability to make those decisions in an informed and confident way, which is honestly the best we can ask for. Like, during this time, the energies as they are, that is really just like the chef's kiss. So the outcome here, very interesting, more water, is the Four of Cups. Now, fascinating, because Four of Cups, it can be about a certain level of dissatisfaction with the way that things are. It's sort of, I wish things were different. I wish things were, it's a dissatisfaction with the timing of things as well, but it's also a failure to see the gifts, right? But the fact that this is coming up as your outcome and your victory here is judgment, I'm really drawn to the number four, which is, the number of stability, a foundation, right? So what I feel like this is saying for you is a restructuring. I'm really drawn to this broken boat here, and then that nightingale with the newspaper as well, and the finding your voice. I feel like you have the opportunity to come out of this time having restructured, or even I'm hearing like remodeled some aspect of the way that you think or your relationships or your choices moving forward. It's like you are going into this time period with an eye on how to make the most of it. And that just feels, it's like you're not in a victim place where things are going to be happening to you or at you. You are co-creating this experience. You are curating it for yourself, and as a result, you're coming out of it with a stronger foundation and a deep sense of, I know what I'm ready to leave behind during this time and what I want to take forward into the rest of the year. So feels incredibly positive in that sense. Now, your oracle is one of my absolute favorites, the River Queen. Flow, letting go, natural movement. Here we have another tie to divine timing and patience. Again, it's really this water coming through to temper that natural fire within you, and also to just kind of sweeten this King of Swords energy that you have going on. But whenever this comes up, it's really, I always feel like there's this, sense of, it's a good thing that we are not 100% in control of how and when things happen, because we don't have all the information. Even if our third eye and our crown chakra is like firing on point and we are just have super clear sight and vision, we are still having a human experience, and a part of that, and because this is the school of life, right? We can't know everything. We're not supposed to know everything. That would keep us from learning lessons. That would be like getting the answers to the test before we go into the classroom to take it. It would kind of defeat the purpose of the reason that we're here, which is soul growth. So I feel like, there's going to be some lessons for you coming up, and having you remember that. And I do feel like this is, saying like, maybe enjoy the fact that you don't necessarily have that control over when and how things happen, and take this opportunity to be near the water, to be within your calm self, to connect to those feelings and really truly appreciate the now for what it is, because tomorrow is not promised. So let's alter our perspective a bit back to this Four of Swords, and just appreciate what is, and see the gifts even in the things that, maybe come as a surprise, or that, we didn't expect, and maybe doesn't feel inherently positive at first, right? But all in all, the River Queen, also, one of my favorite aspects about her is that she also heralds a lot of good coming your way. if you just allow yourself to receive it, right? The gifts are coming down the river, but if you're trying to trudge ahead upwards, like fighting against like the water, like going the other way, you're not going to be in a position to receive them. So allowing stuff to come to you, that is the gift of the river queen. It's really, really beautiful. And you do that by embracing the present moment that you're in. So that's really, really stunning, Aries. So with that being said, I'm wishing you a most blessed and happy eclipse Mercury retrograde season. I will be back with you looking a little bit more into our Beltane season, which is one of my favorite times of year, coming up in May. And with that being said, just thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for your support. I so hope that this helps and resonates. If so, would you please let me know in the comments how you doing, what's going on? I feel like you guys are a little bit quiet on the comments, observing and not saying much. I love to connect with you though. So let me know how you're doing. I am traveling at the moment. I'm at a temporary undisclosed location in the States, waiting for a visa approval to go home to the UK. So thank you for your patience and with my timing of things about, me filming, and looking forward to being back with you guys in a more regular way as my journey, takes more shape, and I'm able to move forward myself. So thank you guys again. Thank you guys so much for being here. And most of all, and as always, Aries, thank you for being you, and be well. Until next time.